Hey guys, welcome to Larp Shire. I'm Ben and this is Abby, and in this video today we're going to give an overview of LARP as a hobby. Alright, so the internet defines LARP as a type of interactive role-playing game in which the participants portray characters through physical action, often in costume and with props.
One good way to introduce LARP to more people is to describe it as something that's similar to D&D or video games. It's got the autonomy aspect of building your own character that exists in a wider world and has an overarching plot, and that character makes decisions of their own that kind of lead them through the story. Yeah,
there's also a similarity with murder mysteries in that there are a lot of different individual characters that all have their different backstories and motivations for doing what they do.
It's also similar to a kind of improvisational theater in that everything is interactive and made up on the spot, more or less, and you get to act out a storyline and interactions. It involves utilizing creativity and imagination and being able to play out your character in your world.
A big part of LARP is just the creative aspect of it, whether it's building a character or building a costume, your backstory, and then if you're like a LARP administrator, coming up with the plots and the overarching storyline of your world.
There's also a major interactive and social aspect to LARPing. Everything that you do in LARP usually has to involve other people. You're playing in a game with other people who you're going to have to talk with and interact with and work with. So you have to associate with those people and be able to play off of them and play with them. So it is by nature a social game because you can't rescue the realm or slay the dragon on your own. It's important to be able to play with other people so that you can reach your goals and that maybe you can reach another character's goals at the same time.
Another huge aspect of LARP is the combat. That's one of the first things that people think of when they think of LARP, although it depends on what LARP you go to, whether that's the main focus or maybe that's just one aspect. But that is one of the big differences between LARP and like D&D or Pathfinders or a board game, is that you actually are acting out these scenarios and doing these physical actions to propel the story.
We found LARP at different times and sort of in different ways. My first experience with the game was friends encouraging me to come play with them because I had a lot of friends that played. Initially, I had misgivings about it because I would have to get out of my comfort zone, and I realized that it was going to be a very social, kind of out there kind of game. But after I started it, I really began to enjoy it, and I've been doing it prolifically ever since.
Yeah, my first experience with LARP was sort of not exactly LARP, but a similar thing that my friends and I did about 13 years ago called Knights Club, which was basically a bunch of kids got together and had wooden weapons and just wailed on each other, which looking back is kind of dangerous, but that led into a few years later us finding LARP, and we started getting into the foam sword making and weapon making, and then transitioned into that form of combat. And then my friend and his family started hosting a full LARP at their house about 6 years ago or so, and so we've been doing that now for ever since then. And Abby and I have been running our own LARP for the last year or so.
Initially, the appeal for me was mainly just the genre and the costuming. That sounded really fun. I was not as interested in the immersion or in actually acting things out physically. Since then, I've gotten really involved in all the different aspects, and I view it really as a creative outlet for me and for anyone else who's involved in LARP as well. Because people can write, they can act, they can dance, they can sing, they can be a different person. All this different stuff comes together to make a LARP, and so it's a really fun creative outlet for me.
I think the thing that initially attracted me to LARP was the physical side with combat, which I still enjoy a ton. But initially that was like the main reason I was there. And over the last few years, I've really grown to enjoy the improv acting side of things, as well as just the whole storytelling aspect of a bunch of people coming together and acting and making up stuff on the spot to create this world and this story. So like I said earlier, Abby and I have been running our own LARP for the past year or so, and that's been really cool because after working with my friend and his family for several years at their LARP, we were kind of able to take a lot of the knowledge gained from that and put it into this new project. Our LARP is a medieval fantasy genre, and we like to focus on a good distribution of all of the different aspects of LARP. We have high immersion and role-playing, as well as a good amount of combat and questing. We have shops and merchants and dancing and things like that. And so we like to have a little bit of something for everybody. But we'll go more into our LARP in future videos and talk more in depth on some of the things you can do if you want to start your own LARP, or maybe ways that you could improve your existing LARP now.
Thanks for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this video. If you feel that way, please leave a comment. Definitely drop us a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content and learn more about LARPing. We have a lot of information we're excited to share, and a lot more videos will be coming out shortly that talk more about our LARP and what we've learned through LARPing and administrating. Thanks for watching.
Yep, we'll see you guys in the next LARP Shire video.
There's also an interactive or social aspect, because almost everything you do in a LARP game has to be done with other people. You can't do it on your own, you can't save the realm on your own, so you have to be able to interact with other characters and